I was once watching a television show in which they had a real-life doctor and a doctor called a reflexologist, which I had never heard of before. But a reflexologist is somebody who believes that really the solution to many of your life's pains is literally in your own hands. They brought up somebody on stage who said that she had had trouble sleeping, that just low energy, and that it had been going on this way for a very, very long time, and she didn't know what to do about it. And so the reflexologist told her to put up her hand and to take the thumb of her opposite hand and to dig its nail into the middle of her opposite thumb and start rubbing it around. And it said, you should feel like there's like a little metal ball, it feels like, right in the middle of there. And it said, just do that for a while. And do that for a little bit every day. And eventually you'll be able to sleep well again. She didn't fall asleep on the spot, so I don't know if it was accurate or not. But she went on to say that the solution to a lot of our pains are literally in our hands. She went on to say that if you're having right shoulder pain, then you should take your thumb and dig it right here underneath your pinky in the opposite hand and just rub that around for a while. If you're having left shoulder pain, just go to your just go to the other finger and start doing the same thing. If you're having stomach issues or digestive issues, they said, just aim for the middle of your palm and just rub around real gently. Just like that. If you're having spinal pain, said turn the hand around and picture your spinal cord going up and down. And just aim for the spot where that would be the equivalent of where your pain is and start rubbing, and eventually your pain will go away. Just reminding us or encouraging us to think about maybe the solution to all of your pains is literally in your hands. Now that's a wonderful promise to be able to believe if that were really true. And maybe it is, and maybe right now you're all just you're all rubbing your palms to see if your pain is going to go away. In fact, I'm guessing some of you might at least try this. Because often we go through life and it feels like the solutions to our pains are completely out of our hands. Like if you've ever knelt by the hospital bed of someone that you love and the doctors don't have any clear solutions for what's happening. That can be really hard and you feel like this is out of my hands. Or if you've ever messed up, you made a really big mistake that hurt someone. And you don't know how to move forward again, feeling confident in yourself or being able to show the other person that you really do care about them. You can feel like it's out of my hands. There are a lot of things that make us feel vulnerable or helpless to what's going to happen in the future. And Jesus, in fact, one day he saw an entire group of people that he identified as feeling the same way, completely helpless to be able to help themselves and eliminate whatever pains were going on in their lives. In the Gospel of Matthew, we see Jesus looking out on a crowd of people, and he saw something when he did. It says, when Jesus saw the crowds, he had compassion on them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. That word harassed is really important. You think of something that harasses you, something awful that just comes after you again and again and again and again, and that can be sickness, it can be trouble, it can be temptation, it can be doubt, it can be worry, it can be fear. But that's what Jesus saw. People who were being assaulted in the most vulnerable parts of their hearts and of their minds, and he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. They were like sheep without a shepherd. But do you know why Jesus was there? Because he wanted to show them that they weren't actually without a shepherd. Jesus said in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, which is known as the Good Shepherd chapter in the Bible, he said, very simply, I am the Good Shepherd. And I lay down my life for the sheep. And think about what happened when he laid down his life for the sheep. Our sins were forgiven, which means he proved that he could overcome sin for all of God's children. And Satan was overcome, which means he proved that he could overcome Satan for all of God's children. And death, when he came out of the grave, was shown to be weaker than his power and his ability to overcome death. And he guaranteed a day when all of your troubles will just be wiped away. All of that happened when he laid down his life for the sheep. And I want you to think about the pain, your deepest pains in your hearts and in your mind right now. It falls underneath one of those categories. Categories of sin, Satan and his temptations, death, or just any trouble in the entire world. And if the Good Shepherd has already overcome them by laying down his life for the sheep, then you're not actually helpless anymore. You have a friend with you. A shepherd who's really good to you.
Hey, it's Pastor Mike. Thanks so much for listening today. If you enjoy this podcast but want to go even deeper in your faith, I want to invite you to check out all the great content that we put out here at Time of Grace. The easiest way for you to do that, and the way that I personally do that, is by signing up for the Time of Grace email. I might be biased, but I think the Time of Grace team does a great job putting all into one email: a written devotion, a video devotion, a blog post, podcasting options. It's the way that I love to start my day, and if you want to go deeper with Jesus, it's a great way to start yours too. Just look for the link in the episode notes to sign up, and thanks for your support.